Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lakshmi Shanmugam. I am an Eclipse platform co-lead, and I work for IBM India. Welcome to this session. This is quick information about myself. So I joined IBM India in Bangalore as a fresher almost 11 years ago, and I've been working in SWT for close to 10 years. I have contributed to different components in SWT and also worked on different ports, but currently just focusing on the Mac port. So over to this session. So Eclipse has lots of useful and powerful features, and with every release we are adding more and more features, but many a times users are not aware of these features and not able to take full advantage of them. So the main agenda of this session is to show you some tips and tricks which will help you in your day-to-day job and help in increasing your productivity. So an overview of the tips I will cover in today's session. It will be mostly demo of all the tips. So before I go to the demo, I would like to ask a simple question. How do you quickly find something in Eclipse? If you have already attended the previous session, I think you will know the answer. By anything I mean it can be a view, or it could be a preference, or a command. Yes, the answer is quick access, Control 3 or Command 3 on Mac. So this is not a new feature. It's been there in Eclipse from quite some time, I think close to 7 years or 8 years. But a lot of people don't make use of this feature. It's a very useful and powerful feature. I will quickly show you a demo. But so please use this feature and take advantage of the feature. So let's switch over to the demo. So let me start with quick access. So the shortcut is Command 3. So since I'm on Mac, I use Command as the primary modifier. So you can replace it with Control for Windows and Linux most of the times. And if it is different, I will let you know. So using quick access, you can quickly find all the matches for the search string. So it can find matches in different categories such as editors, views, perspectives, commands, preferences. And if you see here, it shows you limited results per category. So you press Command 3 again, and you can see all the results in the category, and you can switch back to limited results. And another very useful feature of quick access is you can also quickly find something in the Eclipse help just from the quick access search. So for example, I want to know something about templates. I just go and say search for templates, and it quickly finds it in the help document. Okay, so let's move on to some configuration tips. You can fully configure the window title, which is visible in Eclipse, from the preferences. So you just need to open the workspace preference page, and there is a separate section for the window title. You can configure it to show the workspace name, and you can also provide an alias name if you like, and you can also choose to show the full workspace path. So you see that the window title has changed. You can easily copy the preferences from the current Eclipse workspace to another workspace from the workspace switch dialog itself. Earlier we had to do an export and import of the preferences. So this is the workspace switch dialog, and you can see there is a checkbox to copy the preferences. So you can see you can copy the preferences from the current workspace to the new workspace. So if you have, if you want to install some software items into your current Eclipse installation, and you want to import it from another Eclipse installation, you can easily do it using the import wizard. Just need to invoke the import wizard, and here you have install from existing installation. just choose the other Eclipse installation from where you want to import the items, and it lists all the software items which you can choose and then install. So I will just cancel this for now. So while working with laptops especially, you know that the vertical real estate is a premium. You want to have as much vertical space as possible. So in Eclipse, we see that we have several items which are occupying the vertical real estate. So let's see some tips to improve this. So first of all, we have the full screen mode. So on Mac, I can enable the full screen mode from here. But for other platforms, we also have the command for the full screen to toggle to the full screen mode. And we also have the main toolbar and the status bar, which can be hidden. So let me hide the status bar, and I can also hide the main toolbar. So you can see you have maximum space available to work with your editor. So let me go back because I need the toolbar. So I will working sets is not a new concept. It's been there in Eclipse from a very long time. But again, a lot of people don't take full advantage of working sets. So using working sets, you can group projects into working. You can group projects into working sets. For example, here I have already created 2 working sets. And I've set in the Package Explorer, I have set the top level element as working sets. So the main advantage of creating working sets is it provides you a scope which can be used, for example, in your search. So in your search, you can see that you have a scope. You can see that working set is a scope here, and you can choose the working set you like. Let's move to some navigation tips. So first, some editor tips. So when you have multiple editors open in the editor area, you can quickly switch between the editors using ctrl E. And if you have a long file and you want to look at, say, 2 different sections of the file side by side, you can split the editor. So you can use Command Shift and the left bracket to shift the editor, to split the editor vertically, and you can scroll the individual sections, and also you have quick access support on each of the split editors. You can also split the editors horizontally, so you just need to use Command Shift and minus, and it will split the editors horizontally. If you want to increase the font size in your editor, you can just do zoom in just like how you do it in the browser using Ctrl++ and Ctrl-. And if you have a Mac or if you have a machine which supports gestures, you can also use the pinch gesture to easily zoom in and zoom out. Eclipse editors support local history. So if you have been working on a file and you want to go back to an older state, so it supports local history for up to 7 days by default. So you can compare with the local history and choose the version you want. Okay, so this doesn't have any local history, but you can go to the compare with local history, and yeah, you can look at the changes in the file. So let me choose an older version. Okay, okay, and in Eclipse, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the quick outline view. So using the quick outline view, which is the shortcut is Command O, you can quickly see all the members in the particular class. And we also have the in-place outline. Using in-place outline, you can view the outline view for any other type in the class. So for example, I want to look at the outline view of, say, rectangle class. I just need to press Command and F3, and it shows you the outline view of this particular type. And I just need to press Command F3 again to see all the inherited members of this type. But if you see here, you can see that there are, it also shows the members which have been inherited from Java-lang object, and it also shows you deprecated methods. So the quick outline view provides you filters to filter out these things which you would not like to see in the view. So let me filter out the deprecated methods and inherited members from Java-lang object. So you can see they are gone now. So in Eclipse, if you have a long switch statement and you want to quickly jump to the beginning of the switch statement from either the case or default keyword, you just need to press F3 and it will take you to the beginning of the switch statement. And if you want to quickly look at all the exit points of a method, just need to place your cursor over the return type of the method. It will highlight all the exit points, or you can even place the cursor over one of the exit statements and all the other exit statements in the method are highlighted. And also the return type is highlighted. And another very useful feature is if you want to quickly open the file in the file browser of your operating system, you can do it from here. So just say show in System Explorer and it opens the file in the file browser of your operating system. So there are a lot of features which are associated with hover. So let's look at some of them. So when you hover over a type or a method, it shows you the Java doc. But if that particular method already has a warning or error message, then you don't get to see the Java doc. It shows you the warning or error. So in this case, you can see that the method getArea is deprecated. So I would like to look at the Java doc to see what is the replacement method. So I just have to press Command Shift and hover. It will now show me the Java doc. And I can also click on this add symbol here, which will open the Java doc view. You can quickly look at the implementation of the method in place by holding Shift and hover. This will show you the implementation of the method in place. You can also quickly look at the declaration in place by Shift hover over a variable. Yeah. You can quickly open the implementation or super implementation of a method by Command hover. So here you have options to open implementation and open super implementation. And it takes me to the super implementation, and from here I can open all the implementations of this particular method. And this also works on types. So I can Command hover over the shape and you can see all the implementations of this interface. Okay, and if you have multiple line markers, you cannot see the icons for all the markers and you just have to see them in the hover. So here we have a way to see all the markers. So you just need to enable them in the preferences. There is a preference to expand the vertical rule icon upon hover, and it says it does not affect open editors. So I will have to close the editor and open it again. And now when I hover over the markers, you can see all of them have been expanded in the vertical ruler. Now let's look at some search tips. So all of you must be familiar with the incremental search, which is provided by the Find dialog. So you have a checkbox to perform incremental search. So this is similar to the search which you get in the browser. It searches as you type. But the problem with this is you need to type on a different dialog for the search to happen. Instead, you can use Command J. So you can see in the status bar, it now says incremental find. So it has entered the incremental find mode, and now I can start typing. So I just type, you can see that the text I type appears here. If it is not found, it says not found. So let me try again. Okay, where is it? Okay, and I can now cycle through all the matches using Command dot. Oh, sorry, I can cycle through all the matches using Command J. So you can see it will cycle through all the matches using this shortcut. If you want to find all the occurrences of a particular variable or a method, you can enable the occurrences in the next annotation and just use Command dot to cycle through all the occurrences. And these occurrences are also marked here in the right hand side ruler. All of you are familiar with Ctrl-Shift-G, which is basically find references. So if I use Ctrl-Shift-G, I can find all the references of this particular variable here. And in the search view, you can see it shows you all the matches. You can cycle through all the matches using Command dot. So when you say Command dot, it will cycle through all the matches here. So you need to first enable it here in the search results, and you can cycle through the matches. And in the search view, you also can you have filter using which you can filter out. For example, you do not want to see the reads and you want to look at only the writes. You can filter them out and it will show you only the right match, the right occurrence. And you can also delete nodes from the search results. Okay, so we are done with search. So Eclipse provides lots of shortcuts to which helps you in typing. For example, so this applies to the text-based editors. For example, if you want to quickly move the lines up and down, you can use Alt up or Alt down to move the lines. If you want to copy a line or duplicate a line, you don't have to do Control C and Control V. Instead, you just need to press Alt Command and down arrow, and this will duplicate the line. And you can also move it up and down using Alt up and Alt down. And you can quickly delete a line using Command D. And Eclipse also provides word completion in text-based editors. So for example, I want to complete this word. I can use Control dot, and it provides me all the word proposals based on all the based on the words which are available in all the open editors. I can cycle through all the matches and I can choose the one I want. Okay, so let's look at some Java editor specific stuff. All of you must definitely be knowing about content assist, but the default behavior of content assist is to insert the proposal. So let us look at an example. So let me change this. Okay. And here I want to change it to get length. So by default, when I say Control space, it provides me all the proposals which are valid at this point. And if I select get length, you can see that it has inserted get length. But I actually wanted to replace get breadth by get length. So how do you do this? So to have this, you can first enable the proposal using control space, and you need to press control. It will show you, it will highlight the string, part of the string which will be replaced. And when you're going to select the proposal, as you select the proposal, hold control, and you can see that now it has replaced the proposal instead of insert. Content assist also supports camel case. So for example, if you know the name of the method, you can just use camel case to directly get the proposal for that. And it also supports substring matching here. So you can see I just need to type len and I get the substring match proposals. The Java editor provides templates which are very useful. So templates let you insert boilerplate code for commonly used code patterns. For example, print statements, loops, if checks like if null, if not null checks, and inserting methods, etc. So let me show you an example. So how do you invoke the templates is by using the same shortcut which you use for content assist, that is control space. And here you can see that you have the proposal available, that is the template, and it also we also have an SWT template called main loop, which can be used to quickly create a simple SWT standalone snippet. And there is a templates view available where you can view all the available templates, you can edit templates, and you can also create your own templates. Okay, so here there is, I'm going to talk about a new feature which we have. So if you have a project which has the Java source code and you also have the test sources in the same project, and when you're doing a reference search, you don't want the searches which match the test code, you just want to filter them out, or when you're doing a call hierarchy search, you don't want the matches which are in the test sources to appear. So for that, there's a new feature in Eclipse where you can mark the folder, which is the test source folder, as a test source folder. So how do you do that? Just go to the Java build path, and in the source tab, you can mark the folder which contains the tests as a test source folder. And once that is done, you can see that it is highlighted with a slight green here, which says that now it's a test source folder and it will be treated, or the code inside that will be treated as test source. This is very useful when you want to filter out results. I can show you a quick example. So here you can see that I have searched for get length. I think I have already filtered it out. So you can see it shows you the results in tests as well, and I can filter it from here. It can also be done from the call hierarchy view. Let's look at some debugging tips. So if you have a class with multiple methods and you want to add the method breakpoints for say multiple methods in that particular class, you can do that from the outline view. So you can select all the methods on which you want to, I think I will go to a different class. Okay, so let me select all the methods on which I need to add the breakpoints in the outline view. Just right click and say toggle method breakpoint. It will add method breakpoints for all the methods. So since I already had it, yeah, you can see that now we have method breakpoints added for all the methods. If you want to have a breakpoint in your workspace, which will suppress all the other breakpoints until it is hit, then you can mark this breakpoint as a trigger point. So for example, I want all the breakpoints in these methods to be hit only if it comes, only if it is called after this constructor and not this constructor. So I can mark this as a trigger point in the breakpoint properties. And once that is done, you can, I'll just zoom it a bit. You can see that there is a small overlay T which says that this is a trigger point, and all the other breakpoints have been suppressed by it. So you can see there is a T and there is a small slash which says that they have been suppressed. And when I debug this particular application, so as soon as this trigger point is hit, all the other breakpoints have now been enabled. They are no longer suppressed, and you can see this trigger point is now disabled. So let's go to the breakpoints view. So in the breakpoints view, if you want to quickly look at the most recently added breakpoints, you have an option to, so let me say group by breakpoints. So you have an option to sort the breakpoints by creation time. So here you can see the most recently added breakpoints on the top. If you're working on multiple bugs and you want to group the breakpoints based on the bug or feature you're working on, you can create working sets to group them. And the main advantage of having working sets is you can enable all the breakpoints in a working set or disable all the breakpoints in a working set as a group. So for this, you need to first group by breakpoint working sets. So right now I do not have any working set, but I can create a working set. Say, just say bug 1, and I will add couple of breakpoints over there. So now I can enable and disable all the breakpoints in this particular working set by just performing the operation on the working set. So if you want to have a breakpoint which does not suspend the code execution but just prints the name of the class and the method, then you can insert trace point. So the trace, for example, I can have a trace point here. Just need to, so I can, let me use the quick access to add a trace point here. So you can see it is basically a conditional breakpoint which will not suspend the execution but just print the name of the class and the method. So let me run this. So you can see that it has printed the name of the class and the method. So if you have multiple method calls in a line, or if you have nested method calls and you want to quickly jump into a particular method, then you can use the smart step into. So you just select the method you want to step into and then use Alt and F5. Okay, I need to first start the debug session. Okay, so I've added a breakpoint here and then started the debug session. And now I can quickly jump into this method by pressing Alt F5. See, it has already entered this method. We also have support for lambda debugging. So what this means is that if you are debugging through a lambda method, you can see the lambda node in the variables view. So let me start the debug session here. So here you can see that there is a lambda node. On expansion, you can see it shows you all the arguments which are available here. So while you are launching an application, you can choose to terminate the previously launched application before launching the new one. So to do this, so let me first run this application. So if I want to launch this again, I just need to hold Shift before trying to launch it again. So it has terminated the previous run and launched a new launched it again. There's also a new feature in the launch configuration dialog, which is very useful. So you have the show command line button, using which you can easily see the complete command line which will be used to execute this particular application. So this is available for Eclipse applications and Java applications currently. So you can directly pick this and run it on the terminal. Eclipse also provides support to launch multiple launch configurations in a sequence by creating a launch group. So if you want to launch multiple launch configurations in a sequence, then you can create a launch group and add all the launch configurations which you want to run. And you can also have specific post-launch actions. For example, after the launch of this, I want to wait until it is terminated. So you have other options as well, like delay or wait for some console output. So let me run this. So here you can see that it shows the launch group. So one launch configuration is already terminated and the second one is running, and I can terminate it here. And the third launch configuration has also run. This is very useful if you want to launch multiple applications one after the other. Okay, let's move to some PD related tips. So most of you must be familiar with the spies which are provided in Eclipse. So we have the plugin spy, which is Alt-Shift F1, using which you can quickly find all the plugin information, the contributing plugin information for this particular UI element. And similarly, we have the plugin menu spy, which is Alt-Shift F2, using which you can find the contributing plugin information for a particular menu item. So we have a new spy which is called as the SWT layout spy, which can be invoked using Ctrl Shift Command and F9. Let me first open the preferences and then show you this Ctrl Shift Command and F9. Okay. Okay, sorry, it was Alt Shift Command F9. So this is the layout spy, using which you can quickly, you can have a quick view of the layouts which have been used for a particular window. So in this case, I've taken the example of the preferences dialog. So let me enable the show overlay, and here you can see the layout information and also the other information which related to the size. You can also select the control. If you want to, if you want information about a specific control, you can select it here. So it says that it's a table, and it also gives you all the layout related information. It's very useful when you want to debug the layouts in SWT. So while performing a Java search, if you want the search to also include all the plugins in the target platform, then you can enable it in the preferences. Just open the plugin preferences, and here you have the option to include all the plugins from the target in the Java search. So this is not enabled by default, so you will have to do this. And here, if I want to find all references to shell.setText, so here you can see that it shows me all the references here. PD also provides API tools which will help in detecting API errors in your projects, and also provides fixes, provides you quick fixes to fix those API errors. So for that, you first need to configure your project to use API tools. So let's open the project here. So this is a new plugin project which I have created, And in the plugin tools, you have an option to enable the API tools to have the API tools set up. So once the API tools has been set up, you can start using the API tools for that particular project. So I have a project on which API tools has been configured, and I have also created a baseline of this. So I can see the API tool errors in the problems view. So let me open the problems view here. So it's showing me an error. Just hover over it and it tells me what the problem is. It says the minor version should be incremented because new APIs have been added, but I want to know what was the new API which was added. So I just use the quick fix which is provided, which is Ctrl+1, and it tells me here exactly what was the method which was added. So I can use the quick fix and correct the minor version here. And it also reports any API incompatibility errors. For example, let me take an interface, and if I try to add an field to it, I get an error here saying that missing AdSense tag, and the other error says that this is you have added a field to an interface and this is an incompatible change. So you want to understand why it is an incompatible change, you can use the quick fix, and there is an option which will explain, which will take you to the help document which explains why it is an API incompatibility. So you can also fix the AdSense problems using the quick fix. You can quickly look at all the shortcuts which are provided in Eclipse using Command-Shift-L. Here it lists all the shortcuts which are available, basically all the key bindings. And if you press Ctrl-Shift-L again, it will open the keys preference page where you can modify any of the key bindings if required. So you can look at more tips and tricks with every Eclipse release here in the help tips and tricks section. So we have tips and tricks for platform, JDT and PDE, and new tips are added with every release. And also if you want to look at all the new features which are added in every release, you can go to the what's new section, which is also updated in every release, and it is divided based on the different components. So that's all I had for today's session. So thank you for listening, and if you please evaluate the session, and if you have any questions.